Hey guys, today we're going to continue our work with subtracting linear expressions, and we're going to do that by practicing different methods to subtract. Make sure that you have your notes page so that you can copy down the examples as we go, and that you are in a place where you can hear this video as you're watching it. One of the methods we're going to work with today for subtracting linear expressions is going to be rewriting it as an addition problem where we add the additive inverse. And so before we do that, let's just stop and make sure we understand what we're talking about when we say the additive inverse of an expression. All right, so when two expressions have a sum of 0, right, so they add up to 0, then those expressions are additive inverses. All right, and so to find the additive inverse of an expression, you can use the distributive property to multiply that expression by -1. Okay, so let's look at that for letter A. So we have find the additive inverse, or the opposite, of 4x plus 2. And so mathematically what we can do here is multiply this whole thing by -1, and that's going to tell us what the additive inverse of this expression would be. -1 times 4x is -4x, plus -1 times 2 is -2. So the additive inverse, the opposite of 4x plus 2, is -4x plus -2. Or I could have also said -4x minus 2. All right? Did you notice that we just basically switched the signs here? So 4x became a -4x, and a plus 2 became a plus -2, or a plus 2 became a minus 2. So if you want to save a step and not show that you're actually multiplying each number by -1, you can do that by just finding the opposite of each of the terms within your expression. So if you have 5x minus 7 and you want to find the additive inverse of that, you want to first find the additive inverse of 5x, or the opposite of 5x. That's -5x. And then instead of subtracting 7, we do the opposite. We add 7. So that's the additive inverse of 5x minus 7. And again, if we were to add this expression with this expression, they would add up to 0. Pause the video and try to find the additive inverse of -7x plus 3, and then hit play when you're ready to check. All set? All right, well, the opposite of -7x is 7x, and the opposite of plus 3 is minus 3. So that is the additive inverse of -7x plus 3. All right, so let's see how this ties into our work with subtracting linear expressions. So when subtracting integers, we just added the opposite, right? Or added the additive inverse. Hey, we can do the same thing when we're working with linear expressions. We just need to be careful about what's all included with that subtraction problem. So for example here, just watch this one. You don't need to write it down. This one says find 8y minus 5 minus 3y plus 4. And so one way that you can kind of set this one up is to line it up vertically. So you're going to take this expression right here, 8y minus 5, and then we are going to subtract this expression right here, which is 3y plus 4. All right, and now what we can do is we can sort of look at this as, instead of subtracting 3y minus 4, we can turn it into adding the opposite of that whole second term, right? So I can add the opposite of 3y and the opposite of 4. All right, or think of it as, I'm going to go back up here for a second. You can turn this into adding the additive inverse of 3y plus 4, which would be a -3y minus 4. All right, and that's kind of what we got down here. It's a little confusing at first, but stick with me, okay? So then we have -5 plus -4. That's going to leave me with a -9. And then we have 8y plus -3y, which is a 5y. And so our expression is 5y minus 9, or we could have left it at, or we could have done 5y plus -9. All right? Let's try another one. All right, let's try another one. This time I want you to write it down with me on your note sheet. So we have 6x plus 5 minus 3x minus 2. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show another way to get to a correct answer without lining it up vertically. This time I'm going to rewrite this first expression without parentheses, because when we were just adding, those don't really do anything. Okay, so that takes care of this. But then this says we're taking away 3x, and we're taking away a negative 2. Or maybe you thought of this as plus negative 2, so we're taking away a negative 2. And that would leave us with a positive 2, right? Because it's like a double negative there. And then with that, we can start combining our like terms. We have a 6x minus 3x, or 6x plus negative 3x. That leaves us with 3x. And then we have a 5 plus a 2, and that leaves us with 7. All right, are you ready to try one on your own? Pause the video in just a second, and what I want you to do is rewrite your subtraction as adding the opposite, and then see what you get when you take 8x minus 7 away from negative 3x plus 9. Push play when you're ready to check your work. All right, here we go. Now remember, the answer you get should be the same as mine, but you may have gotten there a different way. So we have negative 3x plus 9. And then in my second term, I notice over here I have minus 7. So real quick before I go further, I'm going to turn that into a plus negative 7. All right, and now I'm going to go back. So I've got negative 3x plus 9 minus 8x. And I've got addition here, so plus negative times negative 7, or a minus negative 7, which is a positive 7. All right, and from this point now, I see I've got minus 8x, so I'm going to rewrite that as plus negative 8x, and I can combine my terms. I've got a negative 3x plus a negative 8x, and that makes negative 11x. And then I've got a positive 9 plus a 7, or 9 plus 7, and that's a plus 16. And so the simplified expression here is negative 11x plus 16. All right, let's try another one. This time we've got some rational coefficients, but the process will still be the same. All right, first thing I notice is in parentheses, I have a minus 3/8. I'm going to turn that into plus negative 3/8, just to kind of make things easier for me here. And then I'm going to get to work rewriting this. So I have 2/3 x plus 1/2. And then I am subtracting 1/6 x, so minus 1/6 x, plus I am subtracting a negative 3/8. Well, subtracting a negative results in the same thing as adding a positive. So this is my expression right now where I have no parentheses, and now I need to make common denominators for my like terms. Remember, they don't all have to be the same, only the terms that can be combined. So we need to find a common denominator for 2/3 x and negative 1/6 x, or plus, plus negative 1/6 x. All right, so this can go into sixths by multiplying the top and bottom by 2. So I have 4/6 x, that's hard to say, plus negative 1/6 x. And then let's look at our other two terms. We've got halves and eighths, so these both can go into 8. So if I multiply the top and bottom there by fourths, I will have a plus 4/8 and a plus 3/8, and we've got those taken care of. And now it's just a matter of combining our like terms. So I have 4/6 plus negative 1/6, that's 3/6 x, plus 4/8 and 3/8 makes 7/8. All right, and then I see one more thing I can do here is simplify 3/6. So that actually is 1/2 x plus 7/8. And there's my simplified expression for this problem. All right, now it's your turn to practice. Pause the video, try this problem from beginning to end, and when you feel like you have it and you want to check, push play to see how you did. All right, I turned minus 1/8 into plus 1/8, And then I'm going to rewrite my expression without parentheses by doing the following. Negative 1/6x plus 3/4, and then I am subtracting 1/2 x, and I am subtracting a negative 1/8. So that would be the same as adding a 1/8. Now I'm going to combine my terms. I have 1/6 plus negative 1/2. And so let's make these both into sixths. I've got negative 1/6 x plus negative 3/6 x. And then I've got a 3/4 plus 1/8. And so when I double the top and bottom, I have plus 6/8 plus 1/8. And then I combine my terms. Negative 1/6 plus negative 3/6 makes negative 4/6 x plus 7/8. And then our final step, I can divide out a 2 from the numerator and denominator here, and I have negative 2/3 x plus 7/8 as my simplified expression. All right, now it's your turn to practice. I'd like you to go to the next item in the Schoology folder and download that to Notability so that you can get started practicing what you just saw in the video here. And we'll go through it tomorrow and see what kinds of questions we have and check in and see how well you understood today's learning target. Thanks for watching.